Boys, we're back. I've missed you guys so
Boys,
much.
welcome home, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It's good to see you. I saw you the day I got back. I got back on Friday and I saw you at Sue's that night.
And it was business as usual.
Business as usual. Scotty, I haven't seen you yet, but I'm going to see you this Friday, which I'm excited for.
Yep, I'm coming down.
What before we go into uh Korea and what happened there, and I actually want to. I spoke to you guys this before. I want to actually go through the data and the case study with the girls, how I picked them for that show, go through their weight, their carbs, what we did. I want to go through all that stuff because it's great for me to tell you what happened, but I think, as we're trying to educate people, it would be good to give them some, it's like a case study for both of them. So I'll get into that, but I want to ask you guys what's been going on. And I know we're going to be catching a flight next Saturday for our first A and B workshop that we're holding. So, what is the latest and greatest, MG?
Wow, yes. So many dates and things. Scotty and I have been doing a bit of back and forth, trying to logistically organise things. But next weekend we've got our A and B posing workshop for season B, which is at World Gym in Stafford.
Stafford, yep.
12 o'clock. So anyone who's listening who hasn't registered, jump on and register. Are we allowed to announce who's going to...
Yeah, we are. I spoke with Alex. So we've got Alex coming down. Alex is an IFBB pro. She's an Olympian. So she's going to be
She's
coming
the
down.
only ever female bikini Olympian in Australia ever.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
She'll be there.
She's going to be there live in the flesh. So she'll be there. So for any of the girls that, if you're a first time or even if you have posed, just to be able to be in the same room with someone who's of that caliber, to be able to go through, and her attention to detail and level of minutia that she applies to her posing, it's second to none. So we're excited to have Alex involved, and she'll be down there from 12 o'clock to give a chop out. So girls, if you've got nothing on the Saturday, it's probably going to be nice weather because it always is in Brisbane. Come down to Stafford, and it'll be good to meet everyone. And obviously to go through some quarter turns and also just answer any questions that anyone has about A and B, the shows. We've got some really exciting stuff planned for season B. We know we're the new kids on the block, so to speak, up there, but we're really excited. We're going to have a pretty awesome first show. And I think that speaks volumes. Even to have someone like Alex involved, coming down to be involved in the posing is really exciting.
It's amazing. Like we had her, I think maybe on episode 3 of the podcast, we interviewed her.
Yeah, I was trying to go back and see when that actually was.
Yeah.
It was
That was
ages
before
ago.
she went to the Olympia. So that was super exciting to have her on. We've never officially met her in person, so this is going to be fun just to meet her and hang out with her too. And she's an amazing athlete, obviously, but she's also an amazing posing coach too, and a coach also. So
Yeah, she is.
I definitely recommend for people to come down to.
It's worth it just for that.
just to get some posing done with her and to meet her, to be honest.
And just to stand anywhere near Michael Trimboli is worth it as well.
We want to meet people too, because I know a lot of people like listen to the potty and stuff. And, if we're going to travel all that way, we'd love to meet you guys also. So, so come down. It'll be good to catch up with everyone for sure.
Yeah. And then we've got the SA workshop. So South Australia, or any South Australian listeners, August 12th, Sunday, August 12th, we're going to be heading into the Iron Industry Gym, which is an awesome. They actually got 2 sites. We're going to do the CBD one, and that's going to be at 12 o'clock on the 12th, which we're very, very excited for.
You just told me a cool story about the owner.
Yeah, Lincoln is the guy I spoke to, and when I was talking to him just about collaborating and stuff and how we can help each other, turns out he competed with A and B back in 2014, and it was just so helpful, man, and happy to host us and look after us, which is awesome. So we do have a great community, and I mean the bodybuilding community. I'm not just talking about A and B. Like the bodybuilding community is a very, very supportive community, which is exciting. And then in Vic, I got the 3 posing workshops, so they're a little bit spread out. Tasha at NRG, or as I like to call it, Trimboli's home gym.
Yes.
The August 5th, so plenty of tickets already sold for that one. And then we've got Nat Kickney on the 20th down in her studio in Mentone. And then we're bringing Donna on board this season, which is super exciting, which is just going to be a couple of weeks before the show. And I think that one's on the 10th of September,
Awesome.
which I'll put links out again for all those on the Vic page. But yeah, 3 workshops this season for Vic. So lots and lots happening, but exciting time to be in the sport.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Like, obviously, season A wrapped up. There was some amazing shows, amazing athletes, but we know season B is always epic, and
Yeah,
especially with some of the, the nationals being in Melbourne is exciting. NBA nationals, ICN nationals, and then the big A and B nationals in Sydney, and that's
yeah,
going to be the DFAC world title also, which is going to be so. So there's a lot going on. There's a
yeah.
lot
That
going
sh
on.
that show is going to be awesome, man. I'm
Yeah.
trying to set my season up as a coach to try and put as many athletes as I can to go and do that, as like
Mm.
international competition at both amateur and pro level. So like that'll be pretty exciting. And yeah, you guys know I've got quite a few athletes in New South Wales as well, so it just works out that it'll be a weekend away trip. I think you're going to come with me, MT.
Yeah, 100% going to
Yeah,
be there. Yeah.
awesome. Oh, you'll have Candace and you'll have
Yeah, I have Candace there. Yeah, I have some others. Yeah, it'll be exciting. And I think the biggest thing that's happening in season B is Scotty's competing,
I know.
which we're I'm so excited about. I'm so excited. How's it going so far, Scotty? How you feeling?
Yeah, yeah, it's going good, man. It's starting to get into the nitty gritty, like full transparency. This is probably the first week I've started to feel it a little bit more. Obviously, it's a lot colder in Melbourne, and that's something you probably would have noticed coming off the plane from Korea. It
Oh
just
yeah.
slaps you in the face. But waking up at 5 in the morning and it's 1 degree makes it all the more colder. But no, everything's going really well. I can't complain. I'm where I need to be. But yeah, this is probably the first week that I've probably started to notice just some of the prep feels that are coming. Having said that, this is also, well, obviously it's the best I've looked so far this prep, but I've noticed a few more aesthetic changes. Again, no one ever really sees me other than me and Jen, but she saw me for the first time. We've been crossing paths the last probably week and a bit, and then she was like, "Wow, you've really sharpened up a bit since I
Awesome.
last saw you." And yeah, so that's exciting. And she knows normally where I need to be at what stage, but things are going well, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to get into the real thick of it. When the suck sort of hits you, that's when the fun stuff starts. At
Hey,
least for me
was
anyway.
that just a massive reality check? Did Scotty just lay out the reality of life? It's like 2 kids and 2 businesses with you and Jen, and it's like, yeah, we cross paths. It's like, but that's how it is, isn't it? It's like even
It
people say
pretty
like
much is,
Steve and I,
man.
oh, how do you guys go working together all the time? It's like, man, we're in the same building, but sometimes we don't have a conversation till 9 o'clock at night. You're literally crossing paths.
Mm.
Honestly, that normally is. We normally that conversation. It's normally if she gets home because my wife has a salon, which we've actually just sold, so that's going to get done hopefully by the next week, which will be such a nice relief. But normally it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. She's coming upstairs. I'm normally just kids are in bed. I finish tidying up. I have a shower before I'll eat my last meal, and that's normally where we have that dialogue. But yeah, man, the prep's going really well. Going really well.
It's funny you mentioned about the cold, and so you got me that's in full off season in a t-shirt
I
right
was
now.
gonna say, bro, what are you doing in a t-shirt?
Then MG is going through just a fat loss phase, so he's in a jumper, and you're in like a thick Kathmandu jacket, right?
Yeah, I've got my big Nike puffer jacket. Plus, I got 2 t-shirts and a crew jumper on as well.
Have you gone thermals yet?
Nah, but I wear 2 pairs of socks to bed. I
Yeah,
wear pajama pants, t-shirt, jumper. It's starting to get
starting
pretty
to get
cold.
there.
And I've started to notice as well as I start to get leaner through the glutes. Just chairs now are a bit uncomfortable. If I sit for a while, my ass gets sore. Little things like that. So
I had the girls complaining about that on the trip, actually.
yeah,
Yeah,
you need comfy seats.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They
it's
bought extra pillows, grabbed all the pillows and put them under their butt while they're on the plane and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually can't wait to get up to Brisbane next weekend on the Saturday to train, just to have that warmth. Like I'm excited just when we're not in the gym at Stafford, I'm just going to sit outside in the sun and just literally get as much vitamin D into my body as I can.
Yeah,
Based
man.
on our flight and when we go up, are we looking to train before the workshop or after?
Well, we get in there early, so it's what is it, 2 hours? We'll be up there by 8:39. I reckon we'll probably
Train.
Definitely before.
train earlier, have a
Yeah,
have a shower, and then because the facilities there are awesome, and then do the workshop.
sweet, awesome. So if anyone wants to come and train with us, we train just before the workshop.
Yeah. Or if anyone wants to come and see Scott shower, equally we'll be there.
Yeah, they've actually got a posing room there too, don't they?
They do got a posing room. We should, yeah, you should,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's got the remember you and I were watching MT pose. It's got the mirrors on both sides.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, no, that's good.
Get your
Mm.
pose on for sure. All right, Korea, you want to hear about it?
Of
I want
course.
to hear all the nuts and bolts, man.
All right. So firstly, like before I go into like the nitty-gritty data and the details about the girls and all that kind of stuff, I just want to say I never had Korea on my list of places to visit. Like I don't know, just I never investigated, never interested me. But after going there, I'm like, I want to go back.
Yeah, it's
It's
cool, man.
almost like a tamer version of Japan, but I mean that in a positive way. Like Japan is extreme, right? There's like so many people, so much going on. There's lights everywhere. Like there's so much stuff. Korea's like a tamer version of that, right? So, and they're only like 2 hour plane ride apart. So I've just been telling everyone, if you're going to go to Japan, make sure you go to Korea first as a warm up, because you're going to
Mhm.
really, really enjoy it. It's going to warm you up if you want to go to Japan too. But Korea's amazing. The food's amazing. Like obviously Korean barbecue. They've got their Korean barbecue chicken, and then there's coffee shops everywhere. They love their coffee, and then they
Is the
love
coffee good?
the coffee's good too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's really good. And they love their cakes, sweets, desserts, pastries. That's their thing. But other than that, like the people are super nice. It's clean. The weather was good. It was like high 20s every day. There was no, I think it rained once in the morning. That was about it. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And just the culture there and the people. The language barrier is a bit difficult, but most people can speak some kind of English, and then you obviously learn Korean words too while you're there. So yeah, it's definitely good fun. But the show was on the Sunday, and to say it was epic would be an understatement. It was just over the top. Like they've got this massive stage, then they've got lasers and lights, and you come out in the middle, and there's a silhouette of you, and they got the big camera with the crane. The guy that sits on the end and has got this big like crane, and the camera like floats over the crowd and over the stage. They got a
Like
guy
the
on a
MCG.
Segway with the camera strapped to him. There's people on the stage like walking around with their camera. I think a couple of divisions, no men's physique for sure. When the winner came out and they announced the winner, like a confetti cannon just exploded, and there was confetti everywhere. It's just over the top. It was
That's
over the
cool.
top, and like everyone there was super nice. Obviously, there was a lot of Europeans that were there, and obviously Korea had the biggest competitor base for sure. But those Korean athletes blew me away. Like you probably have seen some photos of some athletes. It's like they're born with an X frame. They're like got the smallest little waist and the widest shoulders. So if it was a silhouette show, they probably would have won everything. Like because their just shape is absolutely amazing. Um, so yeah, I was really, really impressed. And when they were coming, I was like, this is gonna be tough. Like this is real. Like this is a universe show. This is real good. And like the posing, there was some interesting posing, but majority of the posing was pretty consistent with what we see. Um, the women are very slow in their poses and very deliberate. I found, which is good. And we're used to like a division going for about 10 minutes, roughly. But every division there went for about half an hour or more because everyone comes out individually. They give them heaps of stage time. They do their own walk. They do heaps of comparisons. The judging table is so big, right? There's so many judges that sometimes they have people line up in the middle, and then they shift everyone to the left, do comparisons, shift everyone to the right, do some comparisons. So every part of the judging table sees you front on. If that kind of makes sense. So I know at the end of the night when Kiki did her Bikini Pro division, they were there forever because they were just shifting them backwards and forwards across the table. Um, but yeah, it was absolutely amazing show, and I definitely want to go back, or I definitely want to coach more people to travel overseas and to do shows overseas. It was a big learning curve for me. It was obviously unknown, like I'd never done that before. Um, but it was fun, and I learned so much, and I want to do it again. Like to see the girls up there with the Aussie flag and representing, because we're the home country for ICN, so we'd want to represent pretty well, right? So it was good to be there, and it was funny. Like at the Rego night, which is the Saturday, the day before, um, a lot of people would be like, for instance, Amy. She's very active on social media. She's like, says her name, like, oh, Amy, yes, yes, I follow you. Like, like they knew who she was already. and a little bit of Kiki too. She's not as much on social media. So it was good to see people that maybe follow you or you follow them. And we also had um, the ICM president from India, which is a guy from Australia. His name's Jay. He's actually, I think he's in Queensland. He was doing the call out, so it was in English at least. And then I had also a translator if required for Korean. And I had Jose, which is the ICN China president, but he's also from Australia too. So it was good to have some familiar faces there from ICN. Wayne was obviously there, and he supported us so much too. So we had we represented well from Australia. There was two other Australian athletes other than Amy and Kiki. One was in figure, Marika. She did absolutely amazing. She got her pro card and she won the overall pro show. And then Sean, I believe he was one step away from getting his pro card. I think he won a couple of divisions, but in the open, I think he got second. And yeah, he's like the life of the party, bigger smile on his face, and a really, really good guy. Obviously, being a male, he competed in the morning, and he went back to his hotel, got changed, and then came back to watch the girls. So that was really, really nice of him. And you know, the show started at 9, and the last division bikini pro, which was what Kiki was in, finished at 1:30 a.m. So it was, it was a long day. It was a very, very long day. But I'll get into how we managed all that because it was something that I hadn't done before. And I just want to say, Scotty, I appreciate you because I hadn't done it before. I haven't had anyone travel on a plane that far away to compete. So obviously there was a little bit of unknowns or things that I wanted to cross with you to kind of get an understanding about how to tackle that situation being on the plane. Even simple things like, can they bring their food? Are they going to confiscate it? Like that kind of stuff I wasn't aware of.
Mm.
And then also too, because we flew Thursday, which took the most of the day, we got there Thursday night very, very late. So we only really had carb up Friday, Saturday with the show on Sunday, and now we're going to be in around about 7:30, which didn't happen. I'd never really carb someone up that aggressive in a short period of time. So implementing some of the things that you've spoken about in the potty about, you know, putting caffeine with your carb up meals and spreading them out an hour apart. I haven't actually utilized that before. So it was good to pick your brain on that to make sure that I was on the right track with what I was doing, and obviously the results speak for themselves. So again,
Yeah,
just
you guys
want
did
to
well.
appreciate you for helping me out, brother.
Always, bro.
But I just want to give some context. So, um, you know, with Kiki doing bikini, Amy doing sports and fitness. So Kiki had a little bit of a hard time. She was actually sick. So the show was on the Sunday. The Friday before, so a full week and a bit before, she was actually sick. So she didn't train Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, trained Tuesday, then didn't train Wednesday. We flew Thursday. She trained Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday was show day. So not a hell of a lot of training, and she was sick the whole time. Even, you know how it is being on a plane with the air conditioner and the air circulating. Then obviously being in a hotel room with the aircon on, she was coughing most nights and keeping me up. So she was pretty sick. She came good towards show day, and I knew that she would come good because, you know, who doesn't love a lot of food, right? And I knew that, you know, pumping in a lot of food on that Friday, Saturday, and then on the Sunday, I was thinking she's probably going to feel a little bit better, and she did. So come show day, she was good enough to go, good enough to go. But it was a bit iffy. She was like, oh, might be pulling out, and I was like, let's just take it day by day and see how we go. So that was her situation. Amy wasn't sick; she was fine. She was able to do everything that she needed to do leading up to that day. But just to kind of give you some data, so you know, Kiki's previous stage weight at ICN was low 53s, right? 53.2. And Amy's was 56 for NBA, which is her best look, right? So coming into peak week, basically, Kiki weighed 52 and then went down to low 51s by the time we left on the Thursday. So she actually lost weight leading into it, and she was already a kilo down from her stage weight from last stage weight. And because she was sick, I was still feeding her a fair bit. So we were doing her high days, which were about 200 grams of carbs, and she was still losing a little bit of weight. It was maintained, but losing a little bit of weight. So, you know, I was trying to pump food into her, even though she wasn't training and wasn't really active, but her weight was coming down. So I wanted to make sure that we kind of kept that food in there. Amy was basically mid 56s down to 56 before we left. So she was a little bit lighter or so she was matching her stage weight before we left from a previous show, and her carbs were moderate. They were just under 200, right? So Thursday we flew. Now on the plane, as you kind of helped me out with Scotty, compression socks, tight leggings, bring your own meals on the plane, and make sure you drink plenty of water and walk around plenty on the plane. So we were getting up, walking around, doing bodyweight squats in the back of the plane, stretching, moving, making sure we're getting up, drinking plenty of water, going to the back of the plane, filling up the drink bottles all the time, drinking. They were having their meals. I made sure that, so on that day we went really, really low carb, like about 100 grams for the day. Protein a bit higher, fats a little bit higher, but low carb. We wanted to make sure they didn't have any fluid retention. So when they, woke up that Friday morning just after the flight, that we weren't going to have to tackle fluid retention, because the last thing we wanted was for them to have a lot of fluid retention and we're trying to carb them up at the same time, which just wasn't going to be a good look. So low carb on the flight. When they landed, and we landed late and got to the hotel like 11 o'clock, we had a carb meal. It was around about 1 gram of carb per their body weight. And then we moved around a little bit and they went straight to bed. It was late. It was nearly midnight. So we went straight to bed. But during that time, I still maintained their sodium and potassium to be exactly the same as what every other day had been. So we had sodium. I had sodium tabs if I needed them. And I also had potassium powder if I needed them. And they were good to go. So they woke up Friday morning. Now, I didn't get a weigh-in from them, but they woke up Friday morning, flat as a tack and super sharp, like really, really sharp. So like no fluid retention. It was great. It was perfect, right? So that day we started carbing up. So that was the Friday. Kiki's carbs, just to let you know. So Kiki's carbs were 310 on that day, and Amy's were 350, right, on that day. Across 6 meals, sodium, potassium consistent. Majority of their carbs were at the start of the day, 3 meals in, with the highest amount of carbs for those first 3, trained, and then tapered carbs back off. Fats were consistent, except for the last meal at night was a little bit higher. Protein was consistent throughout the whole day. And as I said, sodium, potassium was consistent throughout the whole day. The only thing was, is because that was our first official day in Korea, we did some sightseeing, obviously, and they pumped through like over 20,000 steps. So a lot of steps. And I told you this the next day, and you're like, dude, you've got to be the party pooper and tell them to calm down. So the next day on the Saturday, they only did 12,000. We made sure they relaxed.
Sorry, bro. What did they wake up the next day on the Saturday?
So the next day, so Saturday, Kiki woke up 50.9, so low. She was her lowest, right? And that was after a day of carbing up at 310.
Mm-hmm.
And Amy woke up her lowest, 55.2, again, after a day of carbing up. So obviously, way too much activity, even though we pumped a lot of food in, way too much activity. So we bumped them up. So Kiki went from 310 to 360 carb, and Amy went from 350 to 410, right? Same protocol, 3 meals in, after 3 meals in, then training. So 3 higher carbohydrate meals, then training, and then tapering the carbs off, tapering and then fats higher at the end of the day. I got them to weigh in at night. So this was Saturday night, and they both gained a kilo, both of them. So Kiki was just under 52, and Amy was 56. So they were both a kilo up. I woke up the next day, lost that full kilo again. So they were back where they started, right? So that was the Sunday, that was show day, right? And we thought that they were going to be on stage, Amy 7:30, Kiki 8:30 at night, right? Now, it so happened that Amy got on stage at 10 o'clock and Kiki got on stage at midnight, which was a blessing in disguise, to be honest, because we were able to get in 7 meals, not 6, right? And Kiki went up to, this is including all her meals plus some pump-up carbs. She went to 460. So she was 310, 410, 460. 310, 410, 460. Amy went up to, where are we? 520. So Amy was 450, sorry, 350, 410, 520.
520, yeah.
So it's a fair bit, right? Like that's a lot of carbs to have on a show day, right? But 7 meals in, and we use that strategy that you had spoken about, doing 1 kilo, so 1 gram of carbohydrate per their body weight every hour on the hour with caffeine, right? And that
That
was
4 hour block, yeah.
yeah, and that for a 4 hour block. So we did meal one, meal two, and then started that process from we do meal one, meal two, meal three. That was midday. They weighed in. So obviously, I said they lost their full kilo when they got up in the morning. So they
Mhm.
weighed in after 3 meals. Kiki had recovered her 1 kilo, and Amy had recovered 800 grams of her 1 kilo that she had lost. So I was
Mhm.
like, cool. We're 3 meals in. They've recovered all the weight they've lost, and we still have 4 to go, right? And I had done some posing practice with them, and with Kiki, I know when she's flat by looking at her lower half. So glute roundness, quad roundness is where Kiki goes flat. Her back and her shoulders stay pretty full, right? Amy's the opposite. Her lower stays super full. She's flat through her upper, through her back. So I just tell her to do a back pose for me. And if I can't see much detail and density in her back, I know she's still flat. And when I checked after the meal three, before we started that, 4 meal protocol, she was better, but not where I wanted her to be, right? So we started that protocol of every hour on the hour, 1 gram of carbohydrate per body weight. And what I did is I didn't do caffeine every single meal. I did caffeine every second meal and then alternated with sodium tablet every second meal, right? Because I didn't want I didn't want to do sodium every meal because, as we know, slows down digestion. So I was like,
Gastric
I
emptying,
wanted
yeah.
to taper it in as we went in, because then I knew when we pumping up, I was going to give them at least 3 sodium tablets before we started pumping up. So
Mhm.
I their sodium before we had left for the show was pretty much on par what it's been with the previous days, maybe slightly higher.
Mhm.
So I knew is when I give them a kick before we pumped up, they were going to be good to go. So we pretty much finished meal seven. So all the meals by around about 7 p.m., right? And Amy was on at 10 and Kiki was on at midnight. So when we got to the show, they had got their tan, which is super funny because it's like a dream tan. It's like a cream, and they slap it on you, and then they use like a Bunnings paint roller and they roll it over your body. And then you can't move, you can't sit, you can't touch anything. It's on you. So
Mhm.
I knew with Amy, once I started pumping her up, she was going to come to life a little bit, which we started pump up. We did a little bit of 2 hours before stage time, and then the proper one, half an hour before we're going on. Um, and she came to life pretty quickly. With Kiki, as soon as she got her tan on and I looked at her, I was like, "You're done, ready." Like light pump up and you're good. She was super full and looks really, really sharp. Whereas Amy, I knew she had to come to life a little bit. We had to just get her moving. She's obviously got a lot more muscle too, right? So
Mhm.
we had to get things moving and get things going. But once they started pumping up, they were pretty much good to go. So um, we had recovered their body weight 3 meals in, which was good. And then we knew that we were good to go to pump the rest, the rest of the 4 meals in. And when I saw them on show day, they're good to go. They need to pump up and they were good to go. So Amy went out first. She had Sports Open was her first one. She came out. Now, as I said, the Korean women have an amazing X frame. So the only way that she was going to win was by being super sharp and having a little bit more mass than them. And that's what, you know, put her over the top of those girls. The only thing is, and I think you mentioned this, and maybe even MG mentioned it, from looking at photos and videos, she didn't look that grainy look that she normally has. And that's because of that thick tan that's on their
Yeah, I
body,
know.
right? It's just, you lost that detail. Like, when you see the quads and you can see the lines through the quads, she kind of lost that a little bit. She had all her deep lines, but all those minor lines that you see kind of went away. But everyone was in the same boat. It didn't really matter. Everyone was in the same boat. So um, that's what put her over the top for sports. Obviously, her posing, her stage presence is great. She's done a couple of shows. She got posed by Donna, who's an absolutely amazing posing coach, and her stage presence was awesome. But the lineup was big, it was massive, and it had a combination of Korean women and also European women there too. And then she won her Open, she won her pro card, went into the pro show, and won that too. So she did really, really well. The hardest thing was a turnaround. Literally, the next division after her pro lineup was her fitness division. She had to take her sports gear off, put her bikini on, and with that tan, as soon as you touch it, it rubs off. So she's trying to pull her sports gear off, put her stuff on. They're running around trying to find her, and her tan is looking no good. And literally, she's putting her heels on, and I'm slapping her body right in the backstage to kind of move her tan around. And I said, go, just put your shoes on and go. And then while you're waiting, just keep slapping your body. Slap everywhere just to even your tan out. Slap everywhere, slap everywhere. Ended up being okay, but it was definitely stressful. And then in her fitness open lineup, she came second. The lady that beat her, I believe she was Eastern European. Now, she wasn't as conditioned as Amy by no means, but she was definitely had more fullness. Like she had bigger quads, bigger glutes, and a little bit. She was just a bigger. She had more muscle mass in general, and was a bigger physique than Amy. Amy had great muscle mass, way more conditioning, but they decided to go for that in fitness. And then basically about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, it was Kiki's turn, and same like. As I said, Kiki pumped up. She was ready to go. There was no wardrobe change with her. She went straight into bikini first timer / rookie, because they classify first timer as first timer doing a national show or an international show. Lineup of 9, super competitive. As I said, like if it was a silhouette show, it was going to be hard to beat anyone, to be honest. Like the girls looked absolutely amazing. Kiki just had that detail. She just was she was leaner than all of them. Had the detail, so when you flick the lights on, you saw a little bit more than just a silhouette, which is what put her through. So she won her lineup in the first timer rookie of 9, and then went up against the Open, another lineup of 9, and then she was able to also win that one too. Then straight after that, went into the pro show. We had to run backstage because you have to decide whether you want to do the pro show. So there was already a lineup of 5 pros that were already pros. They weren't new pros from the day. And I ran back there with Amy, and she's like, do I do it? Do I do it? And we're just like, you're here. Just do it. Like, you're here, just do it. And she ended up getting 3rd. So she was really, really happy with what she got. Now, the winner had it. She had the X-frame. She had the mass. She wasn't as lean as Kiki, but lean enough to see a good amount of detail. She looked absolutely amazing. All of the competitors in the bikini pro lineup were all Korean women, and they were absolutely amazing. The one that came 4th to Kiki was actually the poster girl for the show. She's got an amazing silhouette. Like if you see her taper, you're like, Jesus, this is going to be tough to beat. But yeah, she looks absolutely amazing. So. Like really, really proud of the girls. Obviously, they were super happy with the show and how they did. And it's both of their first seasons, and to do an international show and travel overseas and for it to all be unknown, it was a big commitment for them to do. And yeah, I'm proud of them, and I'm sure they're proud of their achievements too. But that's the ins and outs of all the data and how everything went for that. So it's definitely a learning curve.
I think it's good for a lot of coaches listening, to hear that, these 2 female competitors had 7 meals on show day, right? Because I think a lot of coaches fear necessarily eating meals. I've certainly taken over clients who have said, "Oh, last year I was only allowed to have this on the day," and it's like, fuck, that's virtually non-existent. So if you know what you're doing, food is not to be feared.
And we're talking like Amy's 520 grams on show day of carbs and Kiki 460, right? And we're talking people that weigh, 52, 55, 56 kilo. It's a lot of food. Now, the food they ate was literally 7 bowls of cereal, right? So they went through 2 boxes. So we went through 3 boxes in total in the whole trip. So those 3 days, it was literally nearly a box a day. Um, we had to go scouting for cereal. So the only cereal they really have over there is Frosties, which is my favorite, and what Amy's been using. And they had Oreo, like an Oreo cereal, which was obviously like little baby Oreos, right?
Damn good to me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the way I split it, and you gave me that advice too, Scotty, was, at least some of that carbohydrate in that meal needs to be from fructose, right? So they were having, at least 20% of that. So the meal had to be 60 grams of carbs. 20% of that was honey, and then the rest was the cereal. So they were having this overly sweet cereal for 7 meals on show day, but it did the trick. It's what needed to happen, and they sat down and ate every single one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think man, to credit to you, this is the thing. I think there's so much that goes into, at the end of the day, and as we spoke about, you invest so much time and money. These girls, they put all this effort into going to it. It requires that level of minutia. If you're trying to be, the best in the country, let alone the best in the world, attain a pro card. Sometimes that's the point of difference, and you have to be brave enough as a coach and be willing to auto-regulate on the fly. Because if you had have just followed what you thought was going to happen, they would have been flat. And so, I mean, as we spoke about in the morning of the show, you got to auto-regulate it. We were talking about employing that 4-meal protocol. And imagine if you didn't do that, like they wouldn't have been able to fill up in time, and it probably would have cost them. So I think that's the thing. If you are a coach, you've got to be willing to acclimate to what is thrown your way, and also having contingencies. What happens if the show runs fucking 3 hours late? Like,
Yeah.
you would have had more meals there, no doubt. If you needed it, you had cereal there, all those things. Covering your bases inside out. And I think it's just, again, it just confirms the importance of having someone in your corner who knows what they're doing. Those girls, yes, they worked extremely hard. They put in so much effort, but you also drew up the game plan to bring that to fruition. So it's definitely a partnership and a team effort. So I think I've told all three of you guys, I'm proud of all three of you guys did exceptionally well to be able to go over to another country, take care of business as you did. And then obviously come home with what you guys were after, which was pro cards, and obviously a pro title as well for Amy, which is phenomenal. So we couldn't be prouder of you guys, man. It's huge.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I think another thing I wanted to touch on was obviously the food on that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I spoke to you about it. It's like, how much food can I bring in my suitcase? Like, what am I allowed? Like, because I was unsure too. And we literally, everything they ate Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we had brought with us. The only thing we had brought there was broccoli, bananas, and the cereal. Otherwise, everything else we had bought ourselves. So we had bought rice cakes, honey, peanut butter, cereal, oat milk, because that's what they had been having. I think Amy had almond milk. We bought cans of tuna, microwave rice, and that's pretty much about it. And obviously some supplements and like all that kind of, make sure they had their creatine and all the other stuff. Obviously sodium tabs and caffeine tabs and all that kind of stuff. But literally we just went to the shops and all we bought was broccoli and bananas. That was it. We had a microwave in the foyer, which we went down and we bought a bowl. We steamed the broccoli. We put the microwave rice in there. They popped in another bowl. They put their tuna in there. They mixed it all up. They bought some herbs and spices while they're there, like chili powders and all this kind of stuff to make it taste really, really good. As long as it didn't have calories or sodium, I was happy. It's like, yep, no worries. And they were able to do it. And it was difficult because you're obviously in a new country. You're sightseeing, you're walking around, and there's all this food that you'd love to eat and love to taste, but you can't for those couple of days. And, obviously Alex, Amy's partner, was there, and obviously I'm there too. And they're like, guys, eat out, try this, try that. And I was just like, it's not fun for me to eat in front of you and not with you. So there was only maybe once where Alex and I went out for dinner together, like a mandate, right? Because they were begging us to go out. They're like, please, can you go and eat something together and then go enjoy yourself? And we set their dinner up for them, steamed their broccoli, all that kind of stuff, and then we went out for dinner and came back, right? But it was only until after the show that we kind of then to start to enjoy the culture and enjoy the food that was there. But I was eating the tuna and rice cakes, and I had a bit of broccoli, and I was having the food that she was eating. I was just basically sitting in the hotel room eating it with her because I wanted to support her the best I possibly could, and Alex was doing the same. So it's difficult when you're not at home, you're in a different country, you have to bring food with you.
Sure.
And also, when you're in a different country, what are you there for? You're there for a holiday, right? You're there to explore and to try different things and things like that. And they couldn't do that for the first couple of days, and then all they wanted to do was eat after the show and have a nice celebration meal. The show wrapped up at 1:30 a.m. By the time we wiped that freaking tan off them, we brought towels and we're just wiping their body down with taking all this tan off, and they got changed. We were the last ones to leave the venue. By the time we found something that was open, it was like 3 a.m. And we had a meal, sat and reflected, and then went to bed at 4 a.m. So it was just a really long day, but it was fun.
Crazy.
Massive, man. Massive.
But it was an experience. So, but definitely want to do it again. Want to do it again and encourage other people to do it for sure.
It's so cool doing it as an athlete and as a coach to have that experience. Until you've done it, it's amazing.
Yeah. I'd love to get them on the podcast too, to explain it from their perspective too, because there's a lot of things they found and a lot of things that they could say that I didn't experience. Like they had a mix up with their makeup, which is another thing. Like they could talk about that. It was a massive episode, and just other things. So it'd be good to get their perspective on what they thought the experience was like. But that was my experience from my end and how it all went.
Awesome, bro. I think lots of people will find that very, very insightful, both athletes and coaches.
Yeah. I know. So, Scotty, I know you're traveling. Your last show is overseas, isn't it?
Yeah, in Perugia in Italy, the Worlds.
Yeah. So when do you leave? Like, what's your travel arrangement to get there for yours?
So I've got the ICN, the Pro Show, the Australian show on the Saturday night, I think. Yeah, Saturday night.
Yep.
I think it is, isn't it? Yeah, the guys on Saturday. Yep. And then we fly out to Bali on the Sunday, heading over to Bali on our way over to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be in Bali for a couple of days, 3 days. I just want to get some sun, relax, feel good. And then from Bali, we arrive in the UK early Thursday morning. And then the following Sunday, I'm competing in Italy. That's where the Worlds are, the world titles. So I've got, 11 days. But Jenny and I are flying out we're leaving the kids with Jen's parents in London, and we're heading to Italy on the Thursday, so a few days earlier. It's annoying because Athlete Reggio's on the Friday night, I believe, but the Pro Show is not till Sunday night. So I've basically just got to chill out for 2 days and wait to compete. So that will be the plan of attack. The beauty about coming from the UK as well, it's only a couple of hour flight to Italy, and then I think we've got a long train ride or something like that. So it'll be pretty cool. But again, I'm pretty good in terms of knowing how to manage the edema side of things and that, so it'll be fine. But then you never really know when you're truly shredded what your body's going to do. But again, getting over to Italy on the Thursday, give myself plenty of time to be able to find the look that I want and then just hold on to it. Things like gyms and stuff like that I haven't even looked into yet, but I'm pretty sure we're staying in Perugia. I think there's actually a gym downstairs that all looks pretty cool. So
functional enough. Yeah.
What's that, man?
Functional enough to get the job done.
Yeah. Well, if it's not, then to be honest, I'll probably just in our carry-on luggage from the UK, I'll just buy some dumbbells and then just take them with me. But from what I understand, there's a few gyms that are in the area, so I'll be able to find somewhere to train. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
And what about food? Because I know obviously you're celiac too, so you're gonna be super careful. Hey.
I do, but to be honest, I don't really eat any differently, and I kind of structure my my nutrition even now that I don't actually eat as much meat as I normally would. I only have 1, sometimes 2 meals a day that have meat, a lot of protein powder, not because I'm celiac, but just because of convenience, and also things like when you're traveling, it makes life a lot easier. A lot of yogurt, and then cereal with whey isolate. But I'll bring all my food with me, things like rice flakes, cream of rice, the cereal that I eat. And then they're probably only the foods that I'll eat. That's typically how I approach it. As I explained to you when you guys went over there, I tend to not encourage eating a lot of meat out or buying it there, just in the event that, you get sick or something's not cooked right.
Yeah.
You've invested so much time and energy. I'm very, very precise about eliminating any possibility of risk or things that could go wrong. So I'll literally just eat, and I know I'll carb up on the same stuff I always do. It'll be cream of rice, rice flakes, and cereal, and that's all I'll eat. And steamed rice, and that's all I'll eat probably for. In fact, I probably won't even have the steamed rice. I'll just stick to the cereal, and that's all I'll eat probably while I'm there. It'll be pretty easy. In the UK, it's easy in the week before because we're staying at Jen's parents' place, so I go to the shops like anyone normally would there, cook my meals like normal. But it'll be pretty straightforward, and it's so much easier and more predictable. And again, I'm sticking to the foods that I eat when I'm back here. My body can partition it and metabolize it. No different to, it doesn't matter whether I'm in Australia, the UK, Italy, it's the same thing. And again, I know what I need to do to be able to get that. And you just bring it all with you, like protein powder, cereal, rice flakes. It'll be cruisy. And I think when you've done it a few times, it's you kind of have a blueprint for it. Like I'm sure if you were to go to a show in 2 weeks' time, you know how to manage this, you need to have that, you need to have that. Whereas the first time, there's so many pieces to it, but now you have a blueprint for it. And again, by that stage, I'll know roughly how many grams, like the peaking protocol that I'll need. I mean, you normally have a pretty good idea every time you prep, but again, it changes, season to season. So I'll have all that on lock, and everything will be planned out, and it'll just be rinse and repeat.
Yeah, awesome. That's
So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fucking cold though, man. November in Italy, it's going to be.
Yeah, don't order any gluten-free from any Italian restaurants. The wogs will be like, in Italian, no, he ordered gluten-free. Fuck him, just put some gluten in there.
You know what though, man? In Italy, because we went in 2019, there's actually lots of places over there that are gluten-free and celiac where you can get gluten-free pasta. It's fine there. I think just the world now, it's pretty aware of, us glutards. And again, I'm not someone that eats gluten-free because, I'm scared of gluten. It's because I'm a celiac and I don't want to die of bowel cancer. But,
same as my wife. So, and
you get it, bro.
Yeah, for me, man, I end up and MT, you do as well. We actually eat a lot of gluten-free anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
So many people find that it just digests so much better because obviously gluten's a rising agent. So for a lot of people, glutinous bread, glutinous pizza, pasta, it bloats them, whereas gluten-free, they just feel a bit better, like it digests better.
Yeah, that's one thing that I was worried about when we were over there, not to introduce anything new because I didn't want them to bloat or have any issues. But they went to the bathroom just regularly like they normally would. So it was perfect and everything was working out fine.
Yeah, it's so
there
simplistic.
was one interesting thing. I think maybe I might have mentioned to you, MG, when I saw you about the gyms over there. So, there's a lot of gyms over there. Yeah, there's a lot of gyms over there. All the same as here, like regular, there's hammer strength there, there's pre-core, there's life fitness. It's all the same stuff. But one thing I found was there's a lot of people training in pairs or even more. So groups of 2, groups of 3, right? And a lot of couples train together. So guys and girls saw that a lot. A lot of them are training together. And at this specific gym that we went to, as you walk in, you can pick up a t-shirt, a pair of shorts, and a towel. And everyone goes into the change rooms, gets changed, comes out, and trains in that gear, because if they come from work or something, and then they take it off and they throw it in the laundry chute and they leave. So
everyone's dressed the same.
It's a cool concept, but everyone is dressed the same. Everyone's in grey t-shirts and black shorts.
So are you allowed to wear your own gear though?
You're allowed to wear your own stuff, but they have that there. So majority of people are utilizing that.
Oh.
So it was just really funny. It's like we walked in, we're like, does everyone work here? Like, why is everyone dressed the same?
A lot of staff, man, for 3 members.
A lot of staff, yeah. It was really interesting. Like, obviously there was personal trainers there, so I was, watching them. They're really big on form, like really big. Like, obviously they're explaining in Korean, I don't understand, but obviously I can see their hand movements and their actions and they're, putting their hands on people and showing them where they're like real sticklers for form over there.
Scotty's going to go higher.
Yeah.
I know we might have to get some of them over here, man. Infiltrate our health and fitness sector.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just obviously interesting training at different gyms with different people around. They're obviously looking at you weird because you're the only Westerner in there. But yeah, it was definitely good fun. I didn't find any supplement stores. There was none that I could find. And even at the gyms, there was no supplements that were being sold there. So
Not surprised. Hey, off top. Speaking of gluten-free, is this the best thing that's ever been invented?
You like them,
gluten-free
huh?
wraps?
This is just the seasoning. This is the taco spice mix that I put on. I put it on everything, chicken and beef mince, but on beef mince, man. Oh.
Do you
good.
use their wraps?
I don't use their. I haven't eaten wraps for a little bit. Actually, I had them. I bought them to Suvo's Friday night.
Yes,
That's
mate.
why I thought. Yeah, are you using those ones?
No, I used the different one, man. I think it might have been the Mission gluten free, but that for anyone who can't say, it's the Old El Paso gluten free taco spice mix.
Mhm.
Anyone that I'm probably coaching has it on their plan anyway. It's the best, man.
Yeah.
That's what I season all of my meat with.
Yeah,
Really?
I remember.
Yeah, it's just easy, man. Jen does it as well. We just literally have a packet of it, and then
Beef men's on it for ages too. It's freaking odd. But I remember you doing it with your chicken when we were up in Brizzy.
chicken, beef. Exactly, it's the go.
I mean, you know what's going to happen now? It's going to get sold out because everyone's going to go buy it now. Yeah. See what you've started?
You know how I was talking about what I've been having as my new pre-training meal.
Yeah.
So everyone probably thought, as if everyone's going to go and buy it out. So I told 5 people that are in an area anyway. Went to Coles yesterday, and it's all fucking gone. And I literally said, and there was a lady next to me, and she looked at me again because I just said out loud, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like I told fucking 6 people, and now it's gone." So, and I'm pretty sure there's 2 that I know, and I won't name them here. One of them I know definitely listens to it, and I'm seeing him on Friday, and I'm going to ask him. I'm going to say, "Did you fucking buy all of it? Because if you did, that's
You
not
got to tell
how."
me what it is, Scotty. Tell me what it is later offline, and I'll go and see.
I'll tell you what it is because I know you boys don't shop at my Coles, so it's all right. But I was just like, really?
Does Woolies have it? Because I shop at Woolies.
I don't know. I'd say they would. Yeah, I reckon
Okay.
they would.
Let me know because I'm going shopping later. I'm doing some groceries. I'll get some.
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm so glad I found, and it's again being a glutard, eating rice flakes. It's actually really like rice flakes. People don't know. It's just like gluten-free oats basically, but they're low fat, reasonably high carbohydrate, low fiber, and they're really hard to get. I've got one of my members that supplies them for us, but so expensive versus this other ingredient meal that I have. It's so easy to get when people don't fucking buy it all, and it's like a 20th of the cost. And again, we go through it like there's no tomorrow, but it goes in so quick, tastes so good, digests really well, no fiber, no fat.
Nice. So do you use that? Would that be your carb up food too when you prep?
Yeah, man. I had a refeed the other day, and I had 4 meals of it just to back at 90 grams of carbs per meal, just to see how it went. And literally, after that 4th meal of having it, I felt like I hadn't even eaten anything. Still razor sharp, just went down so good.
Awesome.
And you'll love it.
Yeah. You mentioned cream of rice. I've never had it.
It's amazing.
Where do you buy it? Can you buy it at a supermarket or a supplement store?
Yeah. That's why I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
There's a few more people, and there's a few more of my athletes that I know listen to the podcast. And
But Scotty's looking at empty on screen doing that.
Greensboro Coles.
Shut up, man. Shut up.
Yeah. I'm like trying to kick you under the table, bro.
So that was.
No, you can't buy it anywhere, man. It's not available.
And I'll send you the video on how to make it as well, because
It's an art. It's definitely an art.
There's a step by step what you do,
Okay.
how much water, all that stuff. So
Okay. All right. Sweet. Thanks, Scotty.
I got you, bro.
All right, boys. Maybe we might wrap it up there.
Welcome home.
We didn't gather any questions, even though I've got questions sitting in my notes. But
Next week.
we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, that was good. Are you boys both going to Subs on Friday?
Yep.
You're not going?
No, I've got a wedding. I've got a pre-wedding wedding. I've got a wedding Saturday, but I've got something for that wedding on Friday night. Meeting the bridal party. So
Oh, fair enough, bro. What time is the does the meal normally commence? Because
7:30, man, every Friday.
7:30.
7:30 it starts.
Yep.
Does anyone get there at like 7:15?
I can if you want me to, yeah.
I was thinking of just getting there a bit earlier, just because I'm gonna
Because you're so
go-
excited.
No, just so
Don't
that.
make up excuses. You're like, I'm thinking to get there a bit early. Just some fucking frothy one.
Oh, wait. No, just because at least that way, I can see all you boys hang out, spend some time. But I'm pretty religious with my bedtime, getting home, and
Yeah,
then
sure.
that was all. All right, I'm gonna get there for 7:15.
I'll be there.
I'll be there with a Coke Zero, and
Big hug. I'm gonna give you a big hug.
I can't wait, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
No, it's
All
gonna
right,
be good. All right, boys. MG, I won't see you, but we'll catch up on Friday. I'm sure we'll speak.
Yeah, I'll come past yours again
Yeah, sweet man.
for a nice little coffee.
All right, welcome back,
good.
boys. Good to be back.
Boys,
Good to see you, bro.
All right, and we'll speak to you all soon.
Yeah, sounds good.
listening.
Take care. See you guys.